Hi guys, my name's James Fern. I'm a certified financial planning professional. As you can probably tell from my accent, I come from the UK, but I've lived in Botswana for 20 years now. And over the last decade, I've become more and more of an expert on education funding. And that's less to do with the fact that I'm a financial planner. It's more to do with the fact that I have 4 boys. My wife Tanya and I are blessed with men only. My oldest James is 18, and then I have Philip who's 15, I have Nick who's 9, and I have then Charlie who's 6. So those guys are all at their different stages of their education. And if you're watching this, I think that you are probably like me, that you are one of the people that prioritize your children's education. You send your kids to the best schools that you can afford, and you think about the future for them. Now, my eldest is just coming up to university. I was educated in the UK. I want to provide the best for him. Now, even though I've been planning for him for more than a decade, he threw me a curveball the other day. He came home with excellent predicted grades at matric. And he said to me, "Dad, I'm going to go to vet school. I'm going to go to vet school in the UK." Now, I can't turn around to James and say, "Son, Daddy can't afford that," because I'm a financial planner and therefore I should be able to do that. Also, I can't say to him that I'm going to prioritize my other children over him. This is his dream. So the answer to the question, why do we need to plan financially for our kids' education, is because when it comes along, we have to make some really tough choices. And we have to make those choices with money in mind, but also with the well-being of our sons and our daughters in mind. So my wife and I sit down regularly and talk about what are the options, not just for James, but we talk about what are the options for Philip and for Nick and for Charlie. And you know when the best time to do something about the financial planning for your kids is? Well, it's the day they were born. The second best time is today. So well done for watching this. We've got a few options when it comes to how to pay for all this. A lot of people, they wait, they put their head in the sand, and they aim to pay for their kids' education through debt. There are others who hope and maybe pray that somebody else will pay for it. Perhaps the government will pay for it. But if you're like me, you've sent your kids to a fee-paying school. Why? Because you want the best for them. So you pay money out of your own pocket and you don't rely on somebody else. Now, the government is changing. If we can get the government to help us with university education, well, that's a possibility. But at the moment, the government have a system called market alignment. So if your son or if your daughter wants to study something that there are plenty of in the marketplace, then the government isn't going to fund you. And that's the true whether you want to attend university in Botswana, whether you want to attend university in South Africa, or whether you want to aim for the stars and go to the US, the UK, Australia, or further afield. Now, my colleague will talk to you in a minute about the costs and how we go about planning. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into the level of costs that can come up. When I'm doing my research at the moment, I'm looking at fee levels of £35,000 per year. £35,000 per year is £500,000 pula at today's exchange rate. So for 1 year's university, just for the tuition fees, we're talking about £500,000 pooler of money. If it's a 4-year course, and most courses that are worthwhile today are 4-year courses, that brings it up to 2 million pooler. If it's a veterinary studies course or a medicine course, it may be longer. So you need to sit down and have a think while your kids are still young about what your priorities are and whether you can afford to go into that much debt when they come along and they say to you, Mum, Dad, I've got great grades at A-level, or I've got great grades at matric. We're all different. And a lot of people fail to plan because they say, we don't know what our kids are going to do when they grow up. But what the aim of all of us is to have the options, is to be able to say to our children, yes, you can, rather than to make an excuse to say, no, you can't. So that's the reason why we plan.